Hi, are you veterinarian or vet and vetrepreneurs, and you're looking for consistent customers through Google send you the customer essentially. You are not alone. I have with me my guest is marketing engineer for veterinarians and vetrepreneurs, podcast host Brandon Boyd. Please help me welcome Brandon. Welcome, Brandon.
And thank you so much for having me on. Look, I'm having a blast thus far.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, for me, I started this journey when I was in graduate school. I was getting a PhD in chemical engineering in the states and at the University of Alabama, and one of my mentors also had an MBA as well, and he was talking about you know how to make a huge impact in chemical engineering is to start a business or to have a business mindset. And so I looked into which businesses I wanted to start, and I started with management consulting first. But as I started going down the path of management consulting with the demographics of businesses that I was working with, um, the problem that they had were not necessarily business related tweaks, business related changes. Well, as far as their development, it was more of their marketing. They were not getting enough throughput of clients and customers to their business to actually know where the bottlenecks were. So I shifted over to digital marketing, where I learned a plethora of just marketing strategies, understanding tactics, and then just understanding goals and data analytics. And then I streamlined that even further from helping any business that needed digital marketing to veterinary services, because I had a buddy of mine. She was a vet. She was coming from a private clinic, and she started her own mobile clinic. I was the business guy. I was the entrepreneur that she knew. I was the marketing guy, the marketing engineer, and she asked for my help. I helped her. It worked, and then I'm here today.
Wonderful. What are the top three mistakes to avoid?
Ooh, okay. So the top three mistakes to avoid. Um, this first one is only if you're an expert, a true expert, and you've mastered your particular your offering. Is to The first mistake is to not trust your gut. I'm a firm believer that your gut is your subconscious telling you if something's good or bad to do. So not trusting your gut when it tells you to do something and it gives you that inkling of to pursue or not to pursue. That's the first mistake. The second mistake is just not investing in yourself. Every entrepreneur will tell you that your success and your failure depends on how much you invest into your own personal development, your own understanding, and your own guidance towards your goal. Um, the third mistake, and this is a big one for entrepreneurs, and that's just because who we are by nature, is not knowing when a venture that you are pursuing is a failed venture or if it needs time to mature.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
So my biggest failure story is when I started off in entrepreneurship. I thought I had the finances to a point to where I could take care of my family, have enough money coming in through my family, through other jobs and other annuities that I had, as well as grow the business. The business was growing fine, so at the point where I was starting to just pursue the business full time, just forget any other job. In my opinion, a once in a generation type of um, a once in a generation type of event happened within my business, and within a month and a half, I lost all the clients that I had, and I almost went broke. And um, that was the greatest failure that I had within my business. What I learned from that is you can never have enough planning, and you can never have enough adverse risk steps within your business, within your planning, to mitigate if something were to happen that you didn't expect.
What are your top three success secrets that others can follow?
All right, so um, first off is get comfortable with selling. I hear a lot of people say selling, they don't love to sell, but if you're in a business, you have to love selling at every avenue, which means going from the cold calling, which I personally do not like, up to where people are calling you, and even selling your team on the goals that you have within the company. That's an aspect of selling as well. And so, first, mastering selling. Second is to, when you're starting a business or whatever venture you're on, is to ask yourself this: is if it was easy, what would it look like? And that'll get your brain to thinking on, okay, how do I simplify this complex process that I typically have in my mind on how to be successful? The third thing, and this is something that I'm relearning right now, is to create your business venture as if you're going to sell it, whether you're going to sell it or not. That way, all the internal features of your business are constructed in a way where there's an ease of use and an ease of access once you hire people in. And if for some reason someone offers you a huge multiple on your business, it's much easier to sell that business and to retire.
Brandon, we are entering into a speed round. That means short questions and quick
Oof.
answers. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
What is the most impactful business book you read, and what did you learn from it?
So the most impactful business book is a book by Chet Holmes. God rest his soul, The Ultimate Sales Machine. The reason this book is so important is because as a marketer, as someone who brings leads to other people, it's good to understand what works consistently throughout time and not try to always apply the newest tactic or the shiny object syndrome tactic to a business. So understanding the basics first, and that's exactly what this book teaches.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for my philanthropy. One of my big goals, if I had an end life goal, one of the big goals is to create an educational pipeline for minority and incoming immigrant professionals. And so that's one of the big things I want to be known for, just philanthropy in that area.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
All right, so this may be an unpopular opinion, but when life throws a challenge at me, what I do is I allow myself to feel whatever emotion comes from that challenge, as long as I need to be productive. Because typically what I see is people, either they sulk too long when something's bad and it causes adverse effects, or they don't sulk enough and then later on down the line it comes back to them because they didn't grieve enough. So that's what I allow.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Typically we talk about it. If it's something that I am if it's something that I know that I want to do, that there's no type of persuasion for me not to do it, then I'll typically go ahead and start the process, and then we'll talk about it as the process is going. But if it's something that I'm not strongly I'm committed to, then we'll talk about it, we'll discuss it, and when that's typically how we work with those type of ideas.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Um, well, when I grow up, I want to like I said earlier, I have the initiative to be known for the philanthropic educational guy. So the plan that I have set, I want to go ahead and start that in motion and get enough connections and backers to have this dream become a reality.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my kids, and I'm grateful for my wife, and I'm grateful to live in a time where there's so much ease of access to information worldwide. It makes entrepreneurship a lot easier than, say, even 30 or 40 years ago.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
So my living mentor is a guy by the name of Gordon Bazar. He's pretty big in the world of finance on the West Coast. He has opened my eyes to different opportunities in business development that I would not have thought was possible. And he's given me opportunities time and time again to be part of some of the largest deals that I've ever encountered, just personally, and just to see how that process goes. So that's opened my mind to a different aspect of business that I wouldn't have had 5 years ago.
Why is being impactful important to you?
It's important to me because it's what my family is. That's part of my upbringing. It was what my family taught me from being young. Helping others. If you could benefit others, then that is what you should do. That's what you need to do. And being an entrepreneur, we think in terms of scale. So if I could do more, then I can help more, and that eventually leads to having an impact on, at the very least, my community.
How do you start your day?
So I start my day by just helping my daughter get ready for school when I take her to school or take her to the daycare that she's in now. So that's how I get my day started. There's really nothing dealing with entrepreneurship or business on my mind. It's just making sure she's getting ready, having those impactful conversations with her, and just putting all my attention on her.
Who is your ideal client?
So my ideal client are vetrepreneurs, which are veterinarians that are entrepreneurial mindset, or anyone that works in the vet space that's entrepreneurial mindset, and veterinarians that are practice owners, or at the very least practice partners. And these are individuals that want to grow their practice or grow their business, greater than what um, greater than what in wow, I can't even think right now, Muhammad. But greater than what in
They want to dominate their market in the area.
well, yeah, dominate more than one market area. But I want them to grow their businesses greater than what um uh greater than what inflation is showing. That's the word I was looking for. Inflation. I couldn't think of it for nothing in the world. Inflation. Yeah.
What is the advice you would give to your younger yourself?
So if I could go back and give my younger self advice, what I would do is I would go back to my 18-year-old self. I had an opportunity to meet with the CEO of Merrill Lynch, which was a big financial firm at the time. And we were going to spend the week together. He was going to show me around, show me what the CEO of that company does. But certain issues on the family side prevented me from going because I was trying to take people that probably shouldn't have went with me. But I would tell him, go on the trip by yourself. Don't be afraid, and spend that week with the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company.
How can we support you?
So, look, go to my website www.lakesidemarketing.com. That gives you an idea of what I do. And if you want to reach out to me, it's just connect with me at Brandon@lexoidmarketing.com. Brandon at Lexoidmarketing.com. And what that will do, that's my direct email. Email me, and we can get a conversation started.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
I mean, I enjoyed the show. Muhammad is the man, and I had a great time just experiencing the show.
What would you say as a final word?
Okay, so as a final word, I would say that the principles of entrepreneurship are like the principles that guide a toddler or a young child, an infant, to walk. You're probably going to fall in the beginning more times than you can count, more time than you imagine. But it only takes one success, one win, one time to actually walk without falling, to where you get a taste, you get a feel, and you get a sense of what it feels like to win. And take that one win and use it to multiply wins over and over and over again. And just like a child, once they fall the time all those times in the beginning, they rarely fall. Once you fail and fall as an entrepreneur in the beginning, once you win, you spend less and less time falling and failing and more time winning.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time and wisdom on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club. We truly appreciate you. Uh, and I hope our path cross again with another amazing guest. Until then, you have a wonderful time.
All right, Muhammad, I appreciate you and thank you so much for the opportunity. You have a good one.